Rochelle, I now call upon you as CNA's Chief Executive Officer to address the audience.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour à vous tous. Je suis ravie d'être ici pour vous présenter la mise à jour en tant que la directrice générale de l'AIIC pour partager avec vous, réfléchir au niveau des activités et aux réalisations de l'année 2011 de l'AIIC. So I'm pleased to be here and to present the CEO report and the update and to reflect on some of the CNA's activities and achievement over the 2011. And I must say that it has been a dynamic year, and I know that Judith presented some of the highlights from the board perspective. Now I will highlight some of the annual report perspective. So before I begin, the CNA team would like, though, to thank Judith as our president and also Barb Milden as our president-elect for their outstanding contribution, leadership, and dedication to nursing and especially to CNA. And you, the members, the most important people of all, we connected with you this year and we were enriched by your knowledge, opinion, the insight on nursing and healthcare. You have all received, no doubt, a copy of the annual report, and let me highlight a few of those. Last year, we stretched just how committed we were to continuing to advance the nursing profession and to advocate for the transformation of health system. And so we focus on strengthening the nursing profession. Alors, on a vraiment mis l'emphase à renforcer la profession infirmière. For instance, we publish a valuable research on wait time. Our report, Registered Nurse on the Front Line of Wait Time, moving forward, provided real-life example of nurse-driven solution. We continued our focus on nursing care delivery model. We brought together a working group of RN, LPN, RPN, and the unregulated healthcare providers, and they did some great work together, which included updating the staff mix framework and developing guiding principles for nursing care delivery models. And all this led to publishing in 2012 the staff mix decision-making framework for quality nursing care. Let me also tell you about the work we did to spread the message that nurses practitioners contributed to an improved health system. In the fall, we launched an exciting public awareness campaign, as Judith mentioned, which was called Nurse Practitioner, It's About Time to Raise the Profile of Nurse Practitioner Role. We started in Fredericton and then on to Ottawa, both a great success. And it was soon afterwards that the other jurisdictions quickly signaled their interest to get involved. And so we made plans to bring the campaign to other cities in 2012 and also 2013. So we'll have more to report on next year. Our certification program celebrated its 20th anniversary. Certification is such a pinnacle program for us. So we put a lot of energy behind activities promoting the values of certification. In 2011, more than 3,600 registered nurses earned or renewed their certification. En plus, l'AIIC a mis en place le soutien de la pratique sous diverses formes dont vous, en tant qu'infirmière, avez besoin. So CNA created a wide range of practice support that you as nurses are seeking. Take, for example, our highly popular Progress in Practice webinar series. These webinars connected over 1,000 registered nurses with resources that they could use in their practice setting on a variety of nursing issues. Speaking of technology, we improve our offering on Nurse One, which is our online gateway for health information and resources. As you know, Nurse One is a significant benefit of CNA membership, and we provided RN with knowledge, features, and bibliographies on topics for your everyday practice. En plus de soutenir la pratique professionnelle, nous avons accompli beaucoup cette année en matière de représentation pour préconiser de meilleurs soins de santé et un système amélioré et faire participer plus d'infirmières pour faire évoluer la santé. So, as I was saying, in addition to supporting the professional practice, we did a lot of activities this year on advocacy. For instance, to advocate to better health care and improve system and engage more nurses in advancing health. One of the really interesting way we did was actually by creating an election 2011 website to get nurses involved in federal election and to have their say on the major health issues through our social media channel. What a better time for CNA to launch our Facebook and Twitter pages. En ce qui concerne la participation, un grand nombre d'entre vous ont demandé d'avoir un lien plus direct avec l'AIC et nous avons entendu cette demande. So speaking of engagement, many of you had asked to have more direct contact with CNA, and we have listened. We began having more two-way dialogues on Facebook and on Twitter, and we connected face-to-face through the meetings, visiting healthcare facilities and holding members' assembly on our cross-country tour that Judith mentioned. As the professional voice of Canadian registered nurses, we know how important it is to take a stance on critical issues and present RN ideas and solutions to government leaders. Nous avons cru important de faire des exposés au comité parlementaire au cours des études sur les maladies chroniques, le vieillissement, la maltraitance des aînés et un examen des progrès réalisés concernant l'accord de 2004. We thought it was especially important to make presentation before parliamentary committees during studies on chronic disease and aging, elder abuse, and a review of the progress made in the 2004 Accord. We call on government to put a greater emphasis on primary care, collaborative care, health promotion, and disease prevention. And through the pre-budget consultation process, we press the federal government for accountable, equitable, efficient, quality care. CNA's message are being echoed in national work, most recently in the Senate of 2012 report on progress on the Health Accord, which they took many of our recommendations and incorporated in them. CNA led important activity as well on primary health care. We continued to promote primary health care integration as a key way to strengthen population health and performance in the health system. In particular, we did the groundwork to hold a summit with stakeholders in early 2012 to explore promising practice and ways to advance primary health care. Alors, en plus, l'AIC a donné son avis sur des sujets cruciaux et nous n'avons pas reculé devant les enjeux politiques. Et laissez-moi donc vous parler un peu de l'intervention au niveau de Insight. So CNA waded in many of the crucial topics, and we didn't shy away from political charge one. And let me talk to you briefly about Insight. In September, we celebrated the Supreme Court ruling to keep Insight open Insight, located in Vancouver, is Canada's only legal supervised injection site. Just months before, we had joined RNAO and ARNBC to present a case before the Supreme Court, as did BCNU. We strongly oppose the idea that RN could face criminal penalties for carrying out their ethical and professional obligation to care for patients. We saw the ruling as a victory for the harm reduction and significant nursing practice. I agree. Il ne faut pas oublier non plus la scène internationale. So I do want to say that 2011 wrapped up 35 years of work we were doing globally through the Strengthening Nurse and Nursing Network and Association program known as SNAP. Mentors from our jurisdiction delivered workshops to several SNAP programs to help build their capacity in areas like health policies and advocacy. Although SNAP funding was coming to an end, CNA remained committed to global health issues and our role in the International Council of Nurses, which David is with us today. As I come to close, I think it is clear that 2011 was a year of engagement and advocacy for CNA, and this annual report attests to it. We strengthened our relationship with our partners, and we reached out and meaningful conversation with RN. How enriching it was for us at CNA, and I think for many of you as well, because the exchange was two ways. Il serait négligent de ma part, toutefois, de ne pas partager un peu mes réflexions en tant que directrice générale de cette importante organisation. I would be remiss not to share with you my own reflection on CNA's operation this last year and going forward. Since my arrival in 2009, I have witnessed great work at CNA and amongst many of the jurisdictions, and as well as our network of specialties. A lot of this is due to CNA staff that I do need to want to acknowledge. They have been committed to meeting the board's directions to advance health and nursing and support professional practice. It's been a great team to work with, and staff are part of CNA, but actually CNA is all of us. And that makes up CNA as an organization which is now embarking its second century. I have to acknowledge, however, that we have had some losses, which I have to admit, as a CEO, no CEO wants to experience losses. But it is the reality of life as an organization. As you heard earlier, those losses included our longtime member, CRNBC, and the new computer-based entry to practice exam. As a CEO, I see that every loss, there is an opportunity for growth and rebuilding. In terms of our BC members, for instance, this allowed the BC nurses, all of them, to reconfigure, and we have helped support ARNBC in its effort to ensure there is a professional voice for nursing in the province and that they can work and move collaboratively on many fronts. And as for the CRNE, this situation has allowed, from my perspective, for a healthy debate within our profession. Healthy debate can only make us stronger. CNA had to adjust many times in the first century, and I have no doubt that we will continue to do so in the years ahead. But the vision of CNA as a professional voice for nursing is as real today as it was in the past. But we cannot do it alone. We require working in tandem with our different partners. And I will name only a few, but there are many more. But some of the partners is CFNU on the socioeconomic, CCR&R on regulation, CAUSEN on education, ASEN for the administration side, our Canadian Network of Nursing Specialty, which represent all domains of practice, including our future generation, the student. The PNA, the Principal Nurse Advisor at the government level, both at the national and at the provincial and jurisdictional territorial level. And there are many more partners inside the family and outside stakeholders that we need to be able to partner. And I will finish with this. What I said more than a decade ago in my presidential inaugural address, because I did wear that hat as well, so I understand where Judith is coming, still remain, and I stand behind today the words that I said at that time. And I will quote, "Our key challenge for the future is to bring our nursing group together with a sense of unity, of purpose, trust, and understanding to allow us to share opportunities and communicate with each other and to value inclusiveness through partnership." And I stand behind these words again today. It's been a privilege, and I remain open to your input as we continue as a professional organization that provides leadership in health and nursing. Alors, ce fut un privilège pour moi de vous accompagner vers le cheminement qu'on a entrepris et je vous encourage à continuer à nous donner vos commentaires pour qu'on puisse faire notre travail en étant toujours représentatif des besoins et d'avancer au niveau des politiques en santé et au niveau des soins infirmiers. Alors, merci beaucoup. Thank you. And I will look, like Judith, for some questions maybe in the open forum this afternoon, conscious of time, and look forward to the dialogue. Merci.
Thank you, Rochelle. We are very proud of the achievements, and as you all can see, we are in very good hands. Rochelle has just been a pleasure to work with and is such an incredible leader. One mistake for future meetings, when we call our past presidents that are here, we should list you as a past president, so apologies. Okay. I am pleased to invite Barb Milden, Chair of the Finance and Audit Committee and President-elect, to highlight the auditor's reports for 2011.
Thank you, Madam President. It is my pleasure to present the 2011 Auditor's Report. Ce rapport se trouve à la page 38 du rapport annuel. Notez que les numéros de page du rapport anglais et du rapport français sont identiques. The auditor's report can be found in your annual report after page 37. Please note that the pagination in the English and French annual report is identical. This report was reviewed by the Finance and Audit Committee during its February 2012 meeting, and as chair, I then presented this auditor's report to the CNA Board of Directors during our March 2012 board meeting. Mr. Joe Waddy, a chartered accountant and partner with Collins Barrow, CNA's auditors, was present to answer any questions. The second page of the auditor's report states that, in the auditor's opinion, the consolidated financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of CNA as at December 31st, 2011, and of our subsidiary company, Assessment Strategies, Inc., and the results of its operation and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with Canadian generally accepted accounting principles. In addition, as part of their term of engagement, Collins Barrow also reviewed the internal controls of the association. They found no weakness in controls, and this was reported to the Finance and Audit Committee and to the Board of Directors. Collins Barrow has in place internal policies which either parallel or exceed the rules of professional conduct of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Ontario in order to ensure an adequate audit is undertaken. A licensed accountant is on site at CNA controlling the audit process, and a manager and a partner review the audit file to ensure the adequacy of the audit. The Finance and Audit Committee met with the auditors and CNA staff. There were no concerns raised by the auditor. All of the above steps are taken to ensure a high level of confidence in the audit opinion. The consolidated statement of CNA's financial position on page 3 reflects CNA's financial position at December 31st, 2011, based on our assets, liabilities, and net assets. CNA's assets totaled $16,399,145. Liabilities totaled $5,925,242, and net assets totaled $10,473,903. At December 31st, 2011, CNA had $8,201,717 of unrestricted net assets, which was equivalent to 5 months of operating expenses. I now turn to the consolidated statement of operations on page 5. This statement records the activities of the organization during the year 2011. It records both revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year. CNA completed 2011 with revenue at 7.2% higher, or $1,460,532 more than budgeted, coming in at $21,885,566 compared to a budget of $20,425,034. Moreover, our expenses were 2.3% lower, or $460,624 less than budgeted, coming in at $19,880,268 compared to a budget of $20,340,892. CNA therefore completed 2011 with an excess of revenue over expenses before amortization and net pension benefit of $2,005,298 compared to a budgeted excess of $84,142. I wish to thank and commend Director of Finance Brenda Beauchamp and her team for their help and expertise and her outstanding leadership over these past years. CNA staff and I will be pleased to respond to any questions.
Thank you, Barb. Before I call for a motion, I was told that in the test question, only 70 to 80 of the possible over 100 machines were activated. They all working. Part of the issue is that you have to respond to the question within the time that allotted to respond. And the time shows in the right corner, top corner. So please make sure that you make your response within that time allotment, because otherwise your vote will not be recognized. Thank you. I will ask for a voting delegate to move the motion by reading the motion on the screen, and another voting delegate to second the motion, and please identify yourself by name and the jurisdiction you represent. So can I have a mover? Mike 2, that the auditor's report for the year ending 31st of December 2011 be adopted.
Rob Callan, British Columbia, I so move.
Thank you. Mike 3.
Ruth Schofield, RNAO, seconded.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, please remember, take out your voting pads, your receivers, your voting pads. There being no further questions, would the voting delegates please record their vote and wait until you see on the screen. Ready, go. Carried. Thank you very much. In accordance with bylaw 7.4, an auditor or auditors shall be appointed to each annual meeting of the association. As a result of the tender process in 2010, Collins Barrow was appointed CNA auditor by the board and confirmed by the annual meeting delegates in 2010 and 2011. The CNA Board of Directors recommend that the firm of Colin Barrows, Ottawa, be appointed as auditors for the Canadian Nurses Association for 2012. I ask for a voting delegate to move the motion by reading the motion on the screen and another voting delegate to second the motion. Can I have a mover, please? Microphone 2. Can't hear you. Microphone 2, please.
Karen Irving, British Columbia. That the firm of Collins Barrow Ottawa LLP be appointed auditors for the Canadian Nurses Association for the 2012 fiscal year.
Thank you. Microphone 3.
Marianne Robinson, Alberta, I second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments to the motion? Seeing none, I call the vote. Carried. Thank you very much. Now, please do not get up from your seats, but the business part of this part of the meeting is concluded, and we will resume the business part at 1 o'clock with the remaining items on our annual meeting. At this point, it is my great pleasure and honor to introduce the two co-chairs of the CNA's Independent National Expert Commission, who will share the highlights of the Commission's final report. Earlier this morning, the co-chairs met with the members of the media for an embargoed briefing about the report. And Mike Villeneuve and Dr. Francine Girard met with stakeholders to brief them. Of course, we expect that they will help us carry the message to the rest of the world. I am pleased to report that the embargo is now lifted. And I'm so happy to have this remarkable report go viral, as they say. We have a gift for you, and hard copies will be outside of the door during coffee break. And this will be probably the only hard copy run. We are very conscious of the environment, but it's all available electronically. But we really felt that we wanted to give you a hard copy to go home with and be able to page it back and forth throughout the meeting. Although we have baited the idea around for some time, it was in mid-2010 that we began to have really serious conversation at CNA board table about establishing a national expert commission. It was an important pillar of the work I wanted to accomplish during my presidency. So you can imagine how thrilled I am to say that the idea of a commission was approved, the topic was chosen, the team recruited, the commission formally launched on May 2011, the work done, and the final report presented to CNA board last Friday. Every step of this on time and within the one-year mandate happened in an amazing speed. I'm sure you can imagine the complexity of these sorts of national level projects. We all have watched Kirby, Romano, and many others. millions and millions, years and years, and a lot of effort. We have accomplished something unbelievably phenomenal in literally less than a year, in very limited budget, but with a lot of engagement, and it wouldn't have happened without incredible leadership. Which brings me to some very key players, our commissioners, an amazing team of people who came together around a strong set of core shared values, worried about the future of our health and healthcare system. Unabashed supporters of Medicare, full of ideas and motivation, but realistic about life. And all sharing an unshakable faith in the ability of nurses to be agents of transformation. You will have a chance to meet many of them over the coming couple of days, and they have a yellow highlight on their name tags, and I will be calling their names and they will be standing, but you will have a chance to reach out and speak to them throughout the next few days. Let me introduce to you the commissioners, and please stand and remain standing and hold your applause. The Honorable Sharon Carstairs, Robert Fraser, Dr. Francine Girard, Vicky Kaminsky, Julie Lies, Dr. Siobhan Nelson, Dr. Charmaine Roy, Heather Smith, Tom DeCuna, who will be arriving tomorrow, Dr. Bob Evans, who are unable to be here as much as he would like to be here, and of course, our co-chairs, Dr. Marlene Smadou, and where's Maureen? Oh, Maureen McTeer. Rochelle Bard and I were ex officios, and Mike Villeneuve. Please join me in thanking. I'm not done yet, but thank you. Again, it's hard to describe how much time, effort, energy, and commitment the commissioners have given. Some of us being nurses, we just take it for granted that we work around the clock on the issues of health and nursing. But to see others equally and more driven as we are is really pretty unbelievable. It has been an unbelievable journey.